Before starting this video, if you guys are new to this channel and if you guys want to see more videos related to web and app development, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and also press the bell button so that you get notified every time I upload any new video. And also you guys can join our Facebook group where we discuss new projects and new ideas. Links will be given in the description below, so make sure you check it out and do enjoy this video. So hey guys, welcome to the second part of this video series where we are building a full stack to do CRUD application with Flutter and Django. So guys, in the previous video we created our REST API in Django, that is our server, and as you guys can see that we can list our to-dos over here, and also we can access an individual to-do by going to a specific ID. So as you guys can see over here, and also we can edit them, and also we can um, delete them, and here we can also add new to-dos, and each to-do contains a title and a description uh, attribute which we can fill it up. And yes, so let me add another one. So learn C++, and then if I post it down, then when I made this post request, as you guys can see, I actually added this to do to my API. So now it has an ID of 3, and if I refresh this link, then you guys can see now we actually have 4 to-dos. The last one I did it accidentally when I tapped enter, and yes, so now we are being able to add to-dos and also delete them possibly, but we want to do it from our app. So here now I am in my Flutter app. So this is basically the default setup which we get when you create a new Flutter project. And before starting before building this application, make sure you guys are actually running the server or making the REST API available in your local host, so that you will be able to access them from your app. And today in this video I will be basically connecting our Flutter application with the backend server, and so that we will be able to display the to-dos and also the description in a list view format. And in the next video we will be I will be showing you how you can add or delete the to-dos. And yes, so that's it. And first of all, I am here in my main.dart file of the app folder. So basically what I am doing is I am actually creating the app folder which will contain my Flutter application, and this is along with the backend folder which actually contains my server or the Django servers, and this is specifically wrapped up as a application. So this is the to-do app, and make sure you follow this structure, because if you keep both the server and the application in different folders, then it might be quite chaotic. So make sure you put them in the same folder if you are going to use them all together. And with this, now let us get started. Let us first of all build the basic UI of the app and how our app is going to look like. And for that, first of all, I am going to just remove this dummy or default code which we get up till here. And here we do not need a title, just this, and this one I'll just going to call it as home page. Okay, so now what we can do in our main.dart file, I'm going to create a stateless widget, and I'm just going to call it as home page. And after that, this is going to basically return a scaffold as always, and we're going to have an app bar, and let's say app bar with a title. We can give a title to our app, so I'll just call it to do app. And since we will be focusing on the basic full stack application, so we will keep the UI quite simple and will not be adding in any type of images or illustrations or animations, and we'll just try to keep it simple, and hopefully in later videos we might try to upgrade and improve the UI a bit. So for now we're just going to keep it simple, very simple, and we're just going to make sure that our application is working correctly, and it is fetching and adding and updating the to-dos from here itself. So that's the basic operations which we are going to perform in this series. Okay, so now inside this scaffold we have already specified the app bar, and after that we can specify the body. And as I've told you earlier that the body will be a list view, so for now we'll just set it to a container uh, just by default. And now let us work with our to-dos. So for that, first of all we need to have a basic layout of each and every to-dos, and for that I'm going to create a new folder inside my lib folder, and I'm just going to call it as models. And inside this models folder we need to have the to-do model or to-do.dart file. And inside the to-do.dart file we need to have the structure of an individual to-do item. So I'm going to create a class of called to-do, and inside this class I'm going to first of all define an integer for the ID, and then a string for our title, and another string for our description. Okay. And now we need to initialize them, so I'll be using initializing them with named arguments. So for that we are going to use curly braces, and this dot id, then this dot title, we're going to have a title, and then the last one, this dot description. Okay, so this is going to be our basic to-do model. So it is just a structure of how each and every to-do item is going to look like, or what features it is going to have. And now what we need to focus is that we need to basically get our to-dos. So actually our to-dos are in here, over here, and if I can just show you the raw data, then so over here if we go to JSON, then as you guys can see, this is the to-dos which are in JSON format. So yes, so this is these are the to-dos which we want to display it in our application for now. And I'm actually using a Chrome extension called Json Formatter, so you guys can also install it. So it just makes the JSON data looks a bit more organized. So yes, it is very useful. And if you don't have this extension, then actually it's going to look like this, so very chaotic. So yes, so for now what we will be doing, we will be parsing, or we will be retrieving this data, and we will be displaying it into our application. And for that I'm going to create another new folder inside the lib folder, and we'll just call it as API, and inside of it we'll create a new file, and I'll call it api.dart. So this file will basically hold our API. And to use the API we are going to be needing some packages. So the first one will be the Dart convert package. So it is a built-in library in Dart, so you don't have to install any external packages. And then we also will be needing the material.dart package. So package material.dart, and then we will be needing the models. So we'll be needing our to-do model. So for that I'm just using the shortcut, that is dot slash, or maybe dot slash model slash, and here we have our to-do.dart. And then we'll be needing one more external package which we will have to install it, and that is basically the HTTP package. So I'm just going to go to pub.dev, and here I'll just search for HTTP, and this is the package which we will be using to fetch or to get our data, our JSON data. And going to the installing section, we just need to copy this up, so I'll just copy this up, and inside my pubspec.yaml under the dependency section, just paste it. And okay, so I've pasted it. So now I'm just going to save it, and hopefully I'll now be able to use it in my api.dart file. So http /http.dart, and I'm just going to import it as http, just for the short abbreviation. And that's it. We are done with our imports, and now let us create another class, and this class we'll just call it to-do provider, and we are going to extend a mixin called change notifier. So mixins are just utilities or add-ons to our class, and inside of it we can create the list, so the list of to-dos or to-do item. And as I've told you earlier, each the list is going to consist of the to-do items, so to-do, and just give it an empty list for now, and we'll fill this list up as soon as we get the data from our API. And since I have made this private, so I'm just going to make a getter to get the list so that I'll be able to use it in other files. So for that, to do get to-dos, and here just return copy of my private to-do. So dot and now after that we need to create a method, so the method through which we will be fetching the data or the to-dos from our API. So we need to create the method, and since we will be fetching the data from an external source, so it can be from the internet, but for now the server is just running in my local host, so I'll be fetching it from my local host itself. But still it will take a little bit of time to fetch all of that information, so definitely it is going to be a feature of future method. So we need to use the async await, so we need to wait for call. So I'll just name it as fetch task and fetch task. So it is going to be an async method, and inside of it first of all we need to specify the URL or the address of our API. So here as you guys can see, this is the address of our API, so I'll just copy this up. And if you are using any external, if you will use any external API, then you need to give that particular URL, but now since it is running in the local host, so I'll just copy this up, and it is just running in my own machine, and I'll paste it. But first of all we need to store it inside of a variable, so I'll just store it inside of response, or maybe URL, let's call it URL for now, and this is going to be our URL. And yes, so now we need to create another method, not method, sorry, another variable, so that we can store the response. So for that, response final response equals since this is going to be a future method, so basically we will have to wait for the response. So I'm going to use await and HTTP. So HTTP which I have imported over here, and now with this HTTP package or module we get some methods. So we get the post method, and if I can just show you, so this is the post method, and this is the read method. We also have the patch method and the get and delete method. So these are some various methods which we can use to modify our data directly to our server. So for now, for this video, I'm just going to display the to-dos which are currently stored in my Django server in my Flutter application. So for that, I'm just going to use the get method, and I'm just going to specify the URL. And yes, so since I have the URL stored over here, so I've specified them here now. And yes, so now we have the response, and after that we can actually analyze the response code. So for that we can give it a check. So if we are able to fetch if we are able to fetch our to-dos, then it should be just a status code okay, or status code 200. And if there is some error, then the status code will basically change to like 400 or 500 or something. So that is what we need to check. And also we need to map the values with that of our what we have over here, that is the ID and the title of our to do. So we have to map them with the information which we get from the API, and we need to store them in this to-do list. And actually, first of all, we can implement the check, and if the check is all right, that is we get a status code of 200, or it means it is okay, then only we will be mapping it with our to-do item, or and also adding it to our to-dos list. So for that, I'm just using a if statement, and response dot here we can get the status code. So response dot status code is equals 100. That means it is okay. Then we can first of all, let us store the data. So I'm going to store a data inside of a variable, and this data will be changing. So make sure you don't put final over here, because it will be changing. And from here, from our response, we need to decode the data, because the data, as I've showed you earlier, it is going to be in Json format. And of course, we need to change it to the proper Dart format. So for that, I'm going to use Json.decode. So this is part of the Dart convert package, the convert package or library which we have imported earlier. And now we get the method called decode, which will help us to decode the body of our response and to proper Dart format. So it will be response dot body. And since we are going to get multiple responses, so I'm just going to decode it as a list. So list as list, and now this data variable is actually a list. So we can run the list methods to it. So for that, what we can do, first of all, we can get the list of to-dos which is currently empty, and we can get it, and we can just fill it up. So it would be data, which is also a list, and data dot map, and we can use the map method. And inside this map method, we can actually map the data which we get to our to-do attributes. And we can actually handle that method over here in our to-do.dart file inside the to-do class. So here what we can do is we can create factory method which is going to return an instance of a class. So factory, and just call it as to-do dot from JSON, since we are inside the to-do class. And here we can pass some arguments. So we can pass a map. So inside of a map, the first or the key is going to be a string, and along with it I will just specify it as dynamic. And yes, so let's give it a name, JSON. And since this is a method, so we need to return to do. So we are inside the to do class, or to do item, and now we can access the attributes inside of it. So we get the ID, and also we get the title, and then we get the description. yes, that's what we want. And now what we can do is we can actually map this with the decoded JSON data which we are getting it from the API. So here we can write JSON. Okay, so JSON, and this one will be the ID. So JSON ID, and then JSON title. So these are just the keys, and then JSON description. Yes, so that's it. Give semicolon over here, and let's save this. And now when in future videos, when we are going to like add to-dos from our application, then we need to create another method which will be the toJSON method. So here we are just getting the data from our decoded JSON response, and when we will be posting or when we will be adding to-dos, then we need to encode it in JSON format, and we will also have to map it along with these keys. So the ID key is going to have the ID, and the title key is going to have the title. So yes, so that's the vice versa of what we have just done now, and we'll be implementing this in the next video. So first of all, let's save this, and also let's save this one. Okay, so we can use that method inside of the fetch tags or the map method. So here first of all, this map method is going to be of type to do, so let's specify it here, and let's call it JSON so that there is no confusion. So the key is here JSON, and as you all know, this is not the key of type this JSON, because this is just a simple key which we are using inside of a map method and has no relation to this JSON, which is basically a package from where we are using this decode method. So I hope you won't get confused. And now we will be able to use our from JSON method, and we also pass this JSON parameter. So this is basically the map, and this map it is the map of the response or the decoded JSON response which we are storing inside of this data variable, and we are mapping over it. And yes, so now since our to do is basically a list, so we need to change it to a list. So dot to list semicolon, let's save this, and now hopefully we will be able to fetch our to-dos. So for that, we'll go to the main.dart file, and here we need access to our to-dos. So for that we can use another external package called the provider package. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to pub.dev again, and I'm just going to search here for the provider package over here. Okay, so now under the installing section, I'll just copy this up, and I'm just going to paste it in my prospect.yml file right under HTTP. Paste it. Okay, so now hopefully we'll be able to use it. So back in our main.dart file, just going to import provider.dart, and also since we are going to use the provider here, so we need to include it into our parent widget tree. So I'll just remove all this default comments, so it's looking a bit messier. So here what we can do, we can wrap this material app with another widget, and that will be the change modifier provider. And if you are using multi-providers, then you guys can just use the multi-provider widget, and inside of it you can just provide a list of providers. So since I will be using just a single provider here, so I'll just use the create attribute, and here I can specify a context. She's going to return the to do provider. Okay, So it is getting automatically imported, and if not, then you have to import your API and api.dart file which has the to do provider, so to use it. And yes, so that's it, I guess. And now here inside my build method, what I need to do, I need to create a variable, and let's call it to do p, just short for to do provider. And basically we need to access to our to do provider class, so provider provider dot of context, and it is going to be of type the provider. So it is going to look up the widget tree for provider named after this, and it is going to find word because we have included it here right above our material app. And yes, the semicolon. And now here we can specify a list view builder, so list view builder. And inside my list view builder we can give since we are accessing our to do provider, so inside of our to do provider we can hopefully access the to dos dot length. Yes, and after that it is going to return a list tile. So we are going to use tile widget, and the list tile, oh, we have one extra comma here, so the list tile is going to take a title, and the title would be a text widget. And to get access to our to do provider class, then to dos of index, since this is a list, so we can access it with the help of index dot title. Just copy this part because it is quite long. And then we need the subtitle, so the subtitle would basically be the description. So yes, so let's just paste it, and this one will be dot let's save this. And what else do we need? Okay, so I guess start this app again. Okay, so here it is an error. Okay, so we have semicolon. Okay, so we are missing an extra bracket, colon. Okay, so let me again restart this app, and we are forgetting something. Okay, so yes, so our fetch task method is not getting called yet, so we could have added it in as for the change dependencies in our main.dart file. So for now I'll just instantiate it inside my to do provider itself. So I'm going to create another method. It will be the to do provider method itself, except for it we can now access the fetch tags method. So as soon as it is called, so let's save this and let's reload our app again. So hopefully now we'll be able to get the to-dos. Okay, so we are getting another error. So yes, so if you guys have previously worked with web application, or if you guys have previously built a web application which uses an API, then you guys might have used the local host itself if you have a backend running. But as for Android simulator, it cannot access this local host, and so for that we would be needing a different kind of endpoint URL. So what I want you guys to do, so what you guys can do is go back to the application folder. So here we have the backend folder which contains our web server, and as we have built it in the previous video, you guys can go inside the to-do app and the to-do app folder, and here you guys will find the settings.py file. So you'll just have to go inside the main or the project folder, and here you can find the settings app settings.py file, and just open it with the notepad. And if I can show you guys. Okay, right here we have used it to add apps to our Django project. So we have the REST framework, and also we have the to-dos app, which we have added it in the installed app section. So right there, right below you will be, if you guys just scroll down, okay, I think it is above. Okay, so right above this install app sections, you guys will actually find the local host, oh, not local host, allowed host section. And inside of this allowed host section, you can basically decide on what endpoints your server is going to run. So I have allowed localhost and another host, which is the 10.0.2.2. so you need this for your Android emulator, because it is not it cannot access the local host. So for that, what you can do, you can just add it to here. And if you have just gone to that file for the first time, then you guys might see that there is nothing out here. So it is like an empty list. So you just need to add it up, and yes, so and then save the file and then restart the server. So yes, and after doing that, what you guys need to do, you guys need to actually add this. So I'll just add it instead of localhost. So in our URL, you just need to add 10.0.2.2 instead of localhost. Just save it. And now if we restart our app, okay, so now we have the to-dos, as you guys can see over here. So I'll make this a bit bigger so that you guys can see more clearly. Yes, so now we have our to-dos, which we actually have stored it in our Django server. So from here we are fetching it. So yes, that is how it is working. So basically, as you guys can see, we have uh, full working full stack system. So we have the server, we have our API, our own server, our own API, and also we have our own app, which is fetching that data from our API, which is running in the local server or the local machine. So yes, that's it for this video, and I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys found it helpful. And do like and share this video if you found it helpful, and do subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And in the next video, we'll be basically be creating or be adding the to-dos to our server, and then we'll be fetching them, and also we should be able to delete them and also edit them. So till then guys, see you in the next video. Stay safe and take care.